Hello guys, and welcome once again. This is Engineer Mbole, and yeah, I know the cab right. Today we'll be looking at the fixed assets management software and how you can get it and register. I'm just going to show you a few things about the software. So first, to access the fixed assets management software, you need to go to www.cbchsfixedassets.org. That is the website. And then once you're there, we will create departments, create regions, create donors, create registers, log asset activity, and then we get reports. Those are the basic things that we will do today. So let's begin by going to www.fa.org. Now you will log in with a username and password that I will give you here. I'm just using my own username and password. Sorry, we are running it directly online. The internet might not be the best, so it will be taking some time to open, but just follow. Once you log in, you come here to fixed assets and you click on fixed assets. Here you have assets region, station, donor, assets type, and then you have assets, add assets, and all of that. So let's look at assets region. The process of creating a region is very simple. You just come to region. The regions are already created. You just go to add region, and then you can just put the name of the region and submit. That's basically all. And then let's look at asset station. It's basically the same. You come here, you add station, and that is it. Donor will be the same. So let's look at assets type. Now you have different kinds of assets here, like you have lands, you have software, you have computers, and then all of those. So it's very simple. You click on add asset type, and when you create like a software, you can then choose a parent category. For example, for lands, you have something like S1 lands, which is a subcategory of this, and you just submit. So you first of all have to create the parent category, and then you create the subcategory, and when you look at the list, you will see that you have S1 lands here. So now let's go to add, and no, before we go to that, let's look at departments. You have to go to accounting, and then you have to take department. The reason is because here at the CBC we operate different departments. So you simply just need to click on add department. You put the name of the department, let's say fixed assets training, and then the department code. Let's say the department code is well, this might be wrong. Let's say 011. I know this is not correct in accounting, but pardon my accounting, please. So once you add that department, it is already just created. You can also be able to add an account or whatever to these departments as well, but it's not really part of our scope. Remember that this fixed assets software is just that this department is created. You can see fixed assets training is department 11. Let's go back to our fixed assets, and then we are going to take we are going to take add asset. So we now click on add asset. When you want to register an asset, the process of registration is basic. We have modified this form from the previous form. So the add asset dialog box will appear over here. The first thing is that you give it a name. So let me give it a name like Mbole's laptop. The person in charge maybe is Roland, and it is assigned to whoever. I made a mistake with this form, but we can correct that. Assigned to Roland still. Now you have different assets form here. If you choose software, you will see that under here the form will be modified. You have something like source code, which has added the useful life is already just suggested. Now if you choose something like computers, for example, you see that the form will be modified, and you will have like the operating system, the processor speed, the RAM, and then you have the useful life also, and then you have the hard drive. Now when you also choose something like transport equipment, it is going to give you the horsepower, which is like the mileage I purchased, the chassis number, and the immatriculation, the number of seats, the engine type, whether it's gas or super, the driver. So basically what you need to do is to fill this, and then you select the asset type here, whether it's S1, S2, S3, S4, whatever, depending on what you created at assets type. So if I select E3 or whatever it is for computers, I will come to department here. I can search the department. You can just type the department number 400, or you type 405, it will search for you. If you know just one part of the department, you can type bingo, or you can type central, it will also filter for you. So I'm going to register this as fixed assets training, which is department 11 that we created. Now is there a donor? Either is others, is this from CBC? We created donors earlier on, so let me see, choosing children, whichever donor, hope healing, whatever donor it is. So let me choose CBC Health Services as a donor, and then I will choose the region. Maybe it's in Northwest. I can choose the asset station, which is in Queen. You see the barcode is automatically adjusted. Once you select the asset station, it will generate. If I go and I select a Tukebe, it will automatically, it should normally automatically generate a different barcode depending on the department number. So let's select, say, a condom. Well, it's supposed to generate. It's probably because the internet is slow, but this will change on its own. So let me select when. You can also change this barcode if you like and put 3, whatever you put. Scrap value is not necessary now. So you have the depreciation here, which is the straight line that we use. You have remarks. You have the price of the asset, maybe it's 100,000. You have the purchase date, the service date, the physical location, the city, and then you have the engine type, if it's gas or super, number of seats, maybe 5 or 7, the magical, the Northwest, the 367 AD, whatever mileage I purchased. So once you have done all of this, you simply just click on submit, and it's going to submit all of those details. Remember, once it is submitted, you can now see a list of assets that have been registered here. This is a list of all registered assets. So the next thing we are going to look at, you can add another asset here. If you just want to see list of assets, then you can also just check on them. The next thing we are going to look at is assets. No, we'll not look at assets repairs right now. Well, let's look at assets repairs. Let's assume that you want to repair an asset. You just come here and take assets repair. Come to assets repair. It is just an activity you can add here. Now when you click on add asset activity, this happens when you want to take an asset for repair. Why are you doing all of this? The reason you are doing all of this is so that you can track everything that is happening with an asset. So you can go to fixed assets here. You can search by department 405 and you look for the particular asset. Let's say you wanted to repair a laptop. You now choose the activity type. Is it repair or just general? If it's general, you just give the remarks like what you have done. But if you want to carry out, like when a driver travels, he can come and lock in the mileage. You know, if a driver leaves here and goes to Yaoundé, when he comes back, he will select the asset, and then he will put the starting kilometers, he will put the ending kilometer, reason for the trip, who approved the trip, account to be debited, and then amount, and then the date of the trip, and then he puts the remark. The reason we are doing this is because when you go to reports, you will be able to tell how many kilometers a particular asset has covered, and also the cost that has been incurred. The next thing here you can check is photocopies. For photocopies, we'll specify the number of photocopies and the amount, if there is any, which account to be debited, and also the date, and we'll put remark. We will also be able to see for photocopies how much it is costing us to photocopy a page. We'll look at the various repairs, and then you have repairs now. These are repairs that occur with assets. So for repairs, you simply select the asset, and then you check the repairer's name and the address of the repairers, maybe Commercial Avenue, and then the repairer's phone number, repairer's location is Bamenda. Then we have the repair status. Is it done? Is it in progress? Is it dead? So let's say it's in progress, and then we put how much did it cost for the repairs. 5,000. When was the repairs done? You click here and you select the date, maybe yesterday. Reason, maintenance of laptop, whatever it is, and then at the end you submit all the total repairs. See, these are not the reports, this is just log. You can also go to asset expense. Here there is asset expense. Now when you go to asset expense here, you want to be able to see all expenses that have been incurred on a particular asset. So you simply click on add expense over here. You select the assets. Let me say it's 401. You can select the assets, the expense category here, which can be salaries, it can be whatever. Let's just say it's orders here, and then you select the assets in place. 401. It's 400. Sorry, let's say this was the laptop that we wanted to repair. The expense amount, let's just say it is 15,000, and then you can give the remarks what happened on this expense. Maybe if it was a car, let me take car. I don't know if there's any car here. There's no vehicle here, so let's just say laptop. Let's just say it was maintenance work, for example. Then you submit. So every expense you carry out on an asset, you can lock it here, and you specify the date as well. Let's say it was done on the 13th, and you simply just submit. The reason is that you are going to go to reports and you want to see how much has been spent on a particular asset over a certain period of time by station. So the next thing we are going to look at, let's look at, is assets disposal. So like we spoke about in the training, when you, excuse me, I'm going to have a cup of water right now, sorry. Like we spoke about in the training, you might want to dispose of an asset. You simply come here and you take asset disposal. And when you take asset disposal, you are going to specify a couple of things. First of all, what is the name of the asset? Let's say that it was fixed assets. What is the method of disposal? upon them say that it can be sold, discarded, scrapped, burned, buried, donated, or ordered. Let's say that it was sold. No. Let's say it was discarded. Oh well, let's say it was sold for how much? 1,000. When? You just specify the date and then remarks. Well, it was beyond repairs, and then you dispose. Once you dispose of an asset, it becomes, the status changes to dispose in the assets list. So these are a series of assets that have been disposed. The next thing we are going to look at is assets transfer. When you click on assets transfer here, you realize that you can be able to transfer one asset from one department to the other. So it's a very basic and simple software. You simply still go to transfer. Your administrator has told you that you need to transfer an asset from this to this. So you simply click on transfer. Then what assets are you transferring? You look for the asset's name. We have 400,001. You can transfer the dental chair. You are transferring from these assets to maybe 405. You select the department, should be 405. Whatever it should be searchable. This is the current book value of these assets right now, and the useful life remaining is 3.9 years. You can issue the transfer date. Let's assume that was today. If you need to do more transfer, just add more here, and you can put more transfers here. And then it's checked by prepared by Mbole and checked by them, and then you issue the transfer. So let's transfer another asset, whatever the asset is, to whatever department, and the useful life. Let's go over the useful life, and then you take transfer. So basically that is what happens with asset transfer. You transfer from one department to another, and that is it. So what have we been saying? You can be able to issue a transfer. You see, this is the last transfer that was done. When you go to action, you can take generate transfer letter, because maybe at the destination they just need a letter that shows they have been transferred. Now the destination does not need to register the asset anymore because it has been transferred to them. And you have a transfer receipt like this. Forget about these letterheads, I'll update all of this. So basically that is what happens when you issue a transfer. Now the last part, which is very important, is going to be assets report. So when you click on assets report here, this is where you get to see all the reports that we have been talking about. You see the transfer report, see the assets report, category reports, and all. So when the reports open, basically you have category report, you have department, you have donor, region. All of these reports are here, but I'm going to sample just 2 or 3 reports. I'm going to look at automobile, and I'll look at photocopies. The reason I'm sampling automobiles is that when you will put the total expenses and costs associated to repairs, fuel, and all of that for vehicles in particular, you will be able to tell the average cost per kilometer. So let's click on automobiles, and we are going to see what is there for us in automobiles. So you just go here and you select the time range, last 90 days or whichever date range. If it's custom that you want, you select the date, you select the kind of assets. Unfortunately, we do not have any car, we do not have any vehicle, so we're not able to get this report. But let's go again to assets report, and let's try to get another report. Another report can be like department. Let's say we want to see the total number of assets in a department. You can see the number of assets for the last 90 days. You can filter them to see assets by purchase. You want to see the number of assets that have been purchased in the last 90 days. You want to see how much assets have depreciated in the CBC for the last 90 days, or assets whose first use is within the last 90 days. Let's start with purchase. Let's see how many assets were purchased in the last 90 days for all departments you submit. So here you can see all of those assets that were purchased for the last couple of days. And if you want to see all of them, it is simple. You can just click on here, just click on PDF, and the PDF will just open. And if you scroll to the bottom, you see that what is prepared by here, there's checked by, and you can also see that the assets are worth 19 million. The depreciation over that period of time is maybe 15,000, and the book value of assets now is 19.4. So you can also see this. If you go back here, it's also okay to filter the assets. You can now try to see assets, the level. If you want to see how much depreciation has occurred for these assets for the last 90 days for all departments, you just take submit, and then you can see for all of these departments. We are looking at just depreciation here, so it's the same. Let me increase the number of items per page, and then click on PDF. Now let me show you something here. Here you can filter and take away a couple of things, like you can take away purchase date, service date. You can take away station, region, donor, category, scrap value, whatever. You can take away all of that, and then you just click on PDF. You can also export to Excel, or you can also directly print. So when it opens, this report is a little bit different because we have filtered out some of the items. And when you scroll to the bottom, you can still see prepared by here, and there should be signed by. And you see that for this period of time, depreciation for these assets is worth this amount. This is the total depreciation for this period of time, is 82,000. The assets were initially worth 21 million, but their book values now is worth this amount. So that is just that. You can also decide to just view for a department. Let's just say department 400. You can view assets only for this department for the last 90 days, purchase, and then you submit. So basically there were no assets purchased for this period of time. Well, let's say department 405. Let's see if there were any assets that were purchased within that period of time. A couple of assets that were purchased within that time. These are the assets that were purchased within that period of time. You can also see their depreciation, and then you can also export them to Excel. So basically that is that, guy. If you have any more questions, get to me. And one thing I would like to tell you is that when the assets will be fully set up, you see the address over here is cbchsfa.org. So the emails can be like bingo at cbchs.org, will be like Roland Ombole, will be like them, will be like BBH. So that will be easy to remember, just BBH Mopi and all of those, so that we don't have to say BBH fixed asset tabla at Gmail. So in summary, when you log into the fixed asset software, you click on fixed assets. You can look at assets region, asset station, asset donor, you have assets type, and then you can add assets and you can check an asset. Let's assume that if you made an asset on the way and you wanted to check on it, just click on asset list here. Sorry, stay. And let's assume that let's just look at this one. Let's assume that the asset was in department 400 and was 400,001. You just type 400, you see 001, the asset will just show up, and you can see any useful information about the asset. You see that it's a laptop, it's a general asset type, it is located at the DHS office. The original price was 400,000. The useful life was 5 years, and it has consumed 18 days. The total depreciation for that 18 days is 3,900, and the current book value now is 9,000. So it's okay to just go to action. You can dispose, you can transfer of this asset, or you can view. If you don't want to view, just click anywhere on the assets. It is still going to open now the full menu for the asset, where you can have all of that information. You see, this is all the useful information about this asset. I can also see the the status of this asset. So it's possible to print out this form about an asset if you met it on the way. So there is a lot on this, guys, and thank you for the time. I apologize for being long. So if you have any questions, you can get to me on WhatsApp through +23767532179. This is WhatsApp. It's the fastest way you can get to me. 321 739. Thank you very much. You have a nice